Dawn is breaking here at Balibo in Timor-Leste, and a new dawn is happening for a whole group of veterans that have come here on our Commandos Return Program.
Timor Awakening is a unique program of renewal and rehabilitation to improve the health and well-being of Australian veterans and their families. The program consists of holistic health education, reflective 11-day awakening immersion in Timor-Leste, and follow-up engagement and coaching. It is a program conceived, coordinated and conducted by veterans for veterans, with support from an extensive network of health professionals. This video focuses on the immersion experience in Timor. It has been for many participants a watershed time in their lives.
It's a program that helps reconcile between Australian veterans and the Timorese people.
Well, before I came, I was interested to see mainly the areas where the 2nd had served during the Second World War. But since I've been, my eyes have been opened to not only the suffering of the Timorese people over that long period of time, but in fact, the way they've handled it has been an inspiration to me. They've been able to forgive, forget, and move on, and that's rare.
Timor Awakening to me is just it's a way to come back and reconnect with the Timorese people for one, but also just to, I think, just find that something that was missing from my perspective anyway, since I left the Defence Force. You know, it's just that I think it's something missing where we go into civilian life and we just don't have that same sort of camaraderie and that same sort of sense of purpose. And something like this just makes you not only reflect, but just get together with like-minded people, veterans, and just share that experience again. So there's a fair few facets to the whole thing. It's been great.
Timor Awakening is about the history of the Commandos, the Australian Commandos, going back to the Second World War. And I honestly didn't know a lot about them. I knew the campaign occurred here, but I wasn't aware of the difficulties that they faced operationally back in 1942. And I wasn't aware of how strong the ties were from the Criado, the 2nd men that fought here, and their Criado. And Timor Awakening has really raised my awareness of just how strong that bond was and continues to be between Australia and the East Timorese.
Well, it's a hard thing to answer simply because it's such a multifaceted program. At base level, it looks at the individual, the ex-serviceman, and the sort of things that need addressing in their life, generally to make the quality of their life better. but it also is involved going back and seeing what the Timorese people have achieved in the time since I've served here. It's about engaging with the veterans of Timor. My feeling is that the veterans of Timor serve as a conduit that go right throughout the country, that link the country together, that overcome some of their more traditional tribal groups. So the country is held together in a sense at a strategic level by the Veterans Association here, because it's not tribally based, and therefore saves a lot of conflicts. It also helps the veterans in East Timor establish their own sense of identity amongst the people, and to keep their efforts and their achievements alive in the history of the people.
The backdrop of a developing and peaceful Timor-Leste is proving to be one that offers hope and healing for veterans. Inspiration is pervasive in Timor-Leste. On Timor Awakening, we are inspired by the resilience and character of the men of World War II Sparrow Force and their special friendship with the Timorese people.
My highlights were that I was initially uncomfortable. I thought I could just walk through and say yes, but I think it's the spirit of the Timor people, despite all their hardships, which leave anything I've ever even read about or thought about. And I was amazed each time that we could be so welcomed, and yet we haven't done as much as we could.
I'd have to say the highlight was not being a Timor veteran myself, so coming to Timor, meeting the Timorese people, and the highlight for me was just how inspirational they are to me, in the sense that after everything that's happened in their history, all the suffering, everything they've gone through as a country, just that they're and extremely poor, and they're still willing to go on, very optimistic, always looking towards the future, and basically give their shirt off their own back.
I was able to bring my son with me, along with the Commandos. My son was a 14-year-old child at the time. It's one of many times where his father just disappeared. He's gone on and had a full military career himself in different zones around the world, and I was able to bring him and connect him in a military sense and also as a father-son level to what I was doing throughout the late 90s.
I've been intrigued in a whole lot of aspects of this. First of all, I looked at the rugged terrain that we've been experiencing, and although we've been going around in four-wheel drives, I was trying to understand what it must have been like to be carrying a rifle with a pack and having 15 to 20,000 Japanese looking for you when you're only a company size of a couple of hundred blokes. And I think they did a fantastic job of holding these Japanese at bay.
The reflection I have is what mighty men they were. To travel over those peaks, those mountain peaks, in a four-wheel drive, I thought was tough, but it was easy. I cannot imagine the pain and suffering they had to go through to do what they did. Not only walking, they weren't well fed, but their boots wore out and all those things. So yeah, I once again, I'm humbled by the experience.
Yeah, I met old Paddy Keneally many years ago, 2003. I was his driver for about a week, and I had a lot of stories from him in the second, and his enthusiasm I saw again here in Timor, treading the ground that he trod, going to the places that he served, and across the battlegrounds that they fought. It was very inspirational.
Being a member of the Commando Association in Australia, we have quite a heritage here, and I think that what the Australian 2nd, 2nd and 2nd Floor Commando companies went through here wouldn't have been able to be successful without the help of the criados, the little boys that help support the commandos themselves and their operations, and not only the criados but the people of Timor, hiding them, giving them food, telling lies to the Japanese, pushing them in different directions to allow the commandos to do their job. And I think the Timorese people certainly appreciate everything we did for them, and you know, we know ourselves as commandos, you know, we have a debt of honour to the people of Timor for life.
As one of the only groups, the 2-2 Commandos, who stayed on under unbelievable conditions, I get a bit sweaty and slightly short of breath walking up, being driven to within a few hundred metres of where they operated. And the country, unbelievable. They were half starved, riddled with dysentery, malaria, and I'm doing it relatively comfortable. And although I was a soldier, I find it near impossible to put myself into the position they were. I really don't know if I would have lasted long.
I got a very strong, it was a very powerful visit to Bazatete the other day. Not only from the town, but we went up the spur line out of the town where the section, I think it was 7 section, were set up in an observation post above Bazatete, and it was the actual location of their action where the Japanese had chased them up to there and then sent hundreds of troops up to take out a section of our fellas. And we lost 2 blokes there, and we had the East Timorese very respectfully lay some rocks where they were initially buried. They've since been, their remains have since been returned to Australia, but it was just so moving to be in the spot where that actual action happened, and to have the East Timorese treat that location with such respect. It was very, very powerful.
We are inspired by the Timorese people. From what was a complete scorched earth in 1999, the country embarked on a pathway of reconciliation, forgiveness and renewal. Many of us who served here in 1999 and on witnessed the tragic hardship that was the burden for all Timorese people, which was at the end of 24 years of suffering. What it takes to endure such a challenge and prevail is awe-inspiring. We can all learn from the resilience, reconciliation and resolve of the Timorese people. Finally, we draw from the inspiration of each other veterans at different stages on life's journey with a common purpose: to live better. The positive stories, the mateship, the support we have for our fellow brother and sister. Our staff team are also all veterans who have navigated the trauma and traumas of military service, and they guide and facilitate a comprehensive learning experience. And we are very honoured and fortunate to have Timorese veterans from the 3 fronts, the armed resistance, the diplomatic front and the clandestine front, who join us on our journey and tell us the incredible stories of how they managed to navigate the incredible challenges through 24 years of Indonesian occupation.
Courage, determination, sacrifice, was all these things that they needed, and they gave freely to the freedom of this country.
I'd say to them that they are very courageous people, very brave, and through their struggle and hardship, they come out the winner. And for that, they don't even hold any grudges towards the people who done bad things to them. And I really admire that.
Amazing people. Just their absolute resilience of fighting for 24 years with no support or very little support from the outside world. Very trying conditions. They're absolutely amazing people. Some of the bravest men I've seen. I've worked with and fought with some very brave people, but just their resilience and their bravery and what they've been able to achieve and just staying the course, and making sure what they were doing was going to win, and which they did. They won in the end, and I just think they're absolutely amazing people. Just very humble, very, very humble people.
At times I think about yesterday, the years I left behind. At times I think about recent days when I couldn't find a dime. Other times I think about the future and today. Sometimes I don't think at all, 'cause it causes too much pain. What's the point of living if you can't grow up and die? What's the point of giving if no one hears you cry? Why bother standing up from that bed in which you lay? Why do we have a voice if we have no things to say?
One thing I did learn, I haven't had a tear in my eye for many years, but nearly every day meeting these people, I've got a tear in my eye, as I probably do now. And this afternoon we're in this village on the top of a mountain. The young girl sang beautifully. We met and I spoke with, I still have a tiny bit of Bahasa to a few of the old chaps. Today was probably the highlight of my time here.
The very top thing that I have learned this trip is how to love each other, respect each other, and try to help each other whatever you can.
Top thing I think through our group sessions is probably don't be afraid to share what you need to share with others, and just having spoken to the group as we did very candidly, I think that the top thing I've learned is just to contribute and share with others. You could help them with what you're saying and they can help you with what they're saying. A lot of times you wouldn't know it unless you speak.
It's been an honour and privilege and just such great timing in my life to have been able to put together this program, which helps Australian veterans and their families in terms of their health through a wellness construct rather than just treating illness. Having personally just come off medication recently, the first number of programs for me was quite difficult, and I don't feel like I really connected on a deep level. But this is the first program that I've been off the medications, right? I'm truly feeling the joy and inspiration of our union with the Timorese people, with Timorese veterans, amongst brethren, people I look up to, great ambassadors of our country, guys and girls with incredible service histories, incredibly proud, people of honour and dignity, being able to come here and share an experience for ourselves with a group of people that have had very little, have had no resources, have been completely isolated, have had so much up against them, so much oppression, suffering, pain, who show us the true essence of what it is to not just be a human, but be a part of a community, and to be a good human being. That's what the Timorese people show us. We don't have to tell anybody that. When we come here, it is so obvious in the way we are received, through the histories that we learn, but certainly in the behaviour and testimonies, and in the eyes, the warmth, the hugs, the handshakes, the embraces, the non-verbal language from the Timorese veterans and the other communities.
Probably the biggest thing is my first world problems are nothing compared to theirs. And I think that what we consider to be major problems, when you consider what these people have been through and are starting to recover from, it's nothing compared, and I don't honestly think we have anything to worry about personally. But just, yeah, my problems are nothing.
It contributed towards my health mostly because after my I lost my son, although I didn't lose him in Timor. It touched me deeply, and it's hard to explain, but for what happened, and also I understand people in Timor-Leste, what they went through. It's, I suppose I could say that we share the same heartache.
Every day I look around me, I see atrocity. Every day I look around me, ask how can this be? Not long ago the world made sense and people had respect. Not long ago we'd look ahead and know what to expect. So what's the point of living if you can't grow up and die? What's the point of giving? No one sees you try. Why bother standing up from that bed in which you lay? Why do we have a voice if we have no things to say? I've been lost and found my way again, maybe once or twice before. I've been crushed and hurt, near death, knocked on heaven's door. Hesitation and sorrow only frees me in my track. Confusion about tomorrow only keeps me looking back.
Very proud of my service here because, you know, the UN mission here to Timor was one of the only ones that actually succeeded, and was a massive success. You know, I think that especially seeing the Timorese people, how much they appreciate us Australian soldiers being here and coming back to their country where we served for such a long time. And not only our history from World War II, but from '99 onwards, you know, the Timorese people absolutely love having us here, and it makes me very proud to be, you know, an Australian soldier, and know what we did was excellent, and we achieved so much and gave them so much for them to become something bigger and better than what they were previously under another country's rule.
I can answer it in two ways. One, that it was worthwhile. The Australians coming here and my service here added to stop Timor from unravelling and to stop interference from external players. But also too, me coming back here has allowed me to contribute to the development of the veterans organisations here.
Hello, my name is Michael Albrecht. I'm based in Brisbane in Australia. I am former military. I was in the full-time army for 11 years and I got out at the end of 2015. A large part of my focus since that time has been trained as a life coach, and that's what I'm doing currently. And my input with Timor Awakening has been in that capacity. And I came on Timor Awakening 4, which was the previous one, technically as a participant, but also to see how my background can add to the already fantastic program which was already set up, which includes a whole range of holistic health professionals. So I came here into Timor in 2009 when I was still in the army. I came here for 6 months and absolutely loved the country. So when I found out about this program and Chaplain Gary Stone asked me to come along, I jumped at the opportunity. So I came here first back in May and got a chance to see parts of the country that I've never seen. And interact with the Timorese people, which was fantastic. And just as importantly, really, was to see how this program and what I offer as well can assist veterans. Because some people are really doing it hard out there. Some people don't know that programs like this actually exist and living, as they say, quiet lives of desperation. So being able to come along on something like this means that they have the opportunity to be around other peers and who are in a similar situation and just start to talk things through and get some new perspectives and get some new insights that they can take back to Australia. So this is my second tour. I've absolutely loved this tour as well. We've got to go to, again, more places I've never seen before, meet some fantastic people, and I'm really excited about how we can just continue to update this program and add more resources to it and really just get the message out to people in Australia, because there's a lot of people back home, lots of veterans who are not in the best place right now, who are just unaware of how many programs are actually out there. So it's just about them knowing that people do actually care, that people do want to make sure that veterans can get better, can look to a more positive future. So yeah, I'm really excited about that, and I think Timor is such a fantastic place to do that, because the Timorese people are so nice, they're so genuine, they're so real, and generally speaking are not doing it that well in financial terms and in terms of their physical quality of life. So when somebody from Australia comes over here, they have the opportunity to contrast their life situation and their problems with what's going on over here. Because I do the majority of the interviews when people go back to Australia after Timor Awakening, I get the opportunity to really hear what was the main insight that you really experienced during Timor Awakening. And there's usually a few. One of the most common trends is that they just had this new perspective about how big their problems really are compared to other people in other countries. You know, for example, the veterans in this country who had to fight for a quarter of a century to get their independence. So that's a fantastic aspect to what this program offers.
We have different itineraries every program, but in overview, we fly into Dili from Darwin, only an hour by flight by Air North. Spend a few foundation days in the capital prior to exploring rural communities of Timor-Leste for approximately a week. The mountainous or coastal landscape is rich in history, culture and inspiration. Timor Awakening provides a multitude of modalities and experiences, including professional education and guidance, peer-to-peer support, physical exercise, mindfulness, journaling, meditation, cognitive behavioural therapy, and unique interaction with foreign communities and veterans. The Timor Immersion provides professional one-on-one guidance and periods of decompression throughout to digest and experience growth. Through professional mentoring and guidance, together with extensive peer-to-peer therapy, Timor Awakening offers an experience uniquely different to other programs available for veterans. The multitude of activities creates a bonded group that will remain connected through each other's journey of healing and growth. The overarching theme of hope, forgiveness and purpose is a feature through dozens of activities on Timor Awakening. Despite a troubled and traumatic past, The Timor Awakening experience is testament to veterans that there is hope, and with purpose and support, a positive future is possible.
Timor-Leste